when Jonathan, Demi, and I pitched our version of the movie that eventually became Philadelphia to Mark Platt, who was head of Orion Pictures at the time, which then became TriStar. Mark said, he said, guys, you know what? There are 10 scripts in development. So this would be 1990. So Mark Platt said, he heard our pitch, and he said, there are 10 scripts in development that I know of right now around town that are about AIDS. All of them have heterosexual main characters. And Mark Platt said, that is immoral. We're going to make the right AIDS movie. It wasn't so much we felt that we had to teach the world how to think or behave. It's sort of like, well, while we're going to do this, why don't we try to reach the biggest audience possible? Wouldn't that be the interesting thing to do? And by the way, remember, Jonathan Demme was the king of indie, of the indie world. You know, with Stop Making Sense and Swimming to Cambodia. I mean, he was the critic's darling. And he very easily could have made a movie that played in art house theaters and, you know, was embraced by all the critics and seen by art house theater going people. That would have been, he could have done that very easily. But he said, no, let's go for a big commercial hit. Our impulse was personal. You know, and then it was political in the sense that we wanted to engage people in a conversation. Not tell them that they're wrong, not beat them up, not disparage them, but to say, yeah, we understand. It's a scary thing. You're afraid of homosexuals. Understand, you know, get it. You know, that there are a lot of people afraid of a lot of things. You're really afraid of AIDS. We get it. Why don't you talk to us? And let's see what happens, and see if after 2 hours of a conversation, if you're as afraid as you were before you came to the theater. Tom Hanks is the right choice because everybody loves Tom Hanks. And he brought, he was the right choice for that. He was the right choice because he had not done drama. And what Jonathan loved to do was to take an actor who was known to do one thing and give that actor a chance to do something else. That was often his approach to casting. The biggest challenge for Tom was losing like 30 pounds or something. And, you know, eating, you know, his lunch would be a little box of lettuce. And Denzel loved to just like take out a candy bar between takes. Tom was really good. Ron Nyswaner, who plays one of the lawyers who Tom is suing, you know, was had full-blown AIDS at the time. And Jonathan had worked with Ron. Ron was, you know, Jonathan and I are from New York, and New York off-Broadway theater, and Ron is a star in that world, and we really wanted Ron to be part of our movie. And, you know, there was a whole, there was a problem because we started shooting, and Ron got sick, and he was hospitalized. And there was a whole discussion about what do we do now, because if we keep shooting and he gets sick again, you know, it'll tank the movie. The insurance company will pull out and it'll cost millions of dollars. And Jonathan, even Ron suggested to Jonathan, he said, you know, look, I understand you only shot like me, you had me in for a couple of days. And Jonathan said to him and to everyone else involved, hey guys, we can't make a movie about suing people because they fired a guy with AIDS and fire a guy with AIDS. So the answer is no. Ron's in the movie. Ron saw the movie in a preview, and I think they flew to Europe, maybe to the Berlin Film Festival, and Ron died quietly on the plane. And his partner, they alerted the flight crew, and they just said, you know, he appears to be sleeping, and they just flew home. There were 50 people with HIV or AIDS in the movie. It appeared on screen. So there's a scene early in the film when Tom, as Andrew goes to his doctor, and he's getting an infusion of some kind of medication, and everybody there. You know, we worked with an AIDS organization down in Philadelphia. So they were, giving us information. I think we shot in their space. Their clients were in our movie, and there was a guy there. Actually, there's a guy in that scene who a guy named Mark. This story always breaks me up. He's very notably, he looks very ill in that scene, and he really was so excited to be in the movie, and we got excuse me. We got word from his family while we were nearing the end of post, but the movie wasn't released, that Mark was very sick, and he really wanted to see the movie. And we took a cut of the movie to him and showed it to him. He died the next day. There was a lot of criticism about the family being so accepting, and Jonathan and I talked, and there was a version of the script where there's some draft where Tom took his mother out to a restaurant to tell her that he had AIDS, and she knocks her drink over and runs out of the restaurant crying, and then we met a couple from Santa Barbara who made a short film about their son with AIDS. They're Rotarians, you're part of the Rotary Club, and the Rotary Club, every year your club does a mission. And he convinced his Rotary Club, this year, our mission for the world is to create a short film about my son Stephen with AIDS. And they just loved that guy to pieces. And Jonathan and I saw that film, and we said, oh, why don't we do this? Because we have seen the parents who reject their gay children. We've seen it. What if they'd already been through that? So that's what we did. Jonathan and I had a lot of conversations about the end of the movie, and in the first draft, Andrew does not die. He gets very sick, but he recovers. And Jonathan and I, our rationalization for that was that we want to give people with AIDS hope. We don't want people with AIDS to go see this movie and be told you're going to die. And then my nephew died, and Jonathan's friend Juan died. And Jonathan said to me, Ron, we should tell the truth. Because it was, at that time, you had a pretty good chance of dying if you had AIDS. That we were dying. So it took us a while to come around to that place.